Shalom. This week's Torah portion is Yom Kippur, and I'll be reading from the, as usual, from the ISR Scriptures 2009 version of the Bible. The scriptures this week are Leviticus 16, 1 through 34, and Numbers 29, 7 through 11. The Haftarah is Isaiah 57:14 through Isaiah 58:14. So, let's begin. And Yahovah spoke to Moshe after the death of the two sons of Aaron, and they drew near before Yahovah and died. And Yahovah said to Moshe, "Speak to Aaron, your brother, not to come in at all times to the set-apart place inside the veil, before the lid of atonement, which is on the ark, lest he die, because I appear in the cloud above the lid of atonement. With this, Aaron should come into the set-apart place with the blood of a young bull as a sin offering, and of a ram as an ascending offering. He should put on the set-apart linen, long shirt with linen trousers on his flesh, and gird himself with a linen girdle, and be dressed with the linen turban. They are set-apart garments, and he shall bathe his body in water, and shall put them on. And from the congregation of the children of Israel he takes 2 male goats as a sin offering, and 1 ram as an ascending offering. And Aaron shall bring the bull as a sin offering, which is for himself, and make atonement for himself and for his house. And he shall take the 2 goats and let them stand before Yahovah at the door of the tent of appointment. And Aaron shall cast lots for the 2 goats, 1 lot for Yahovah, and the other lot for Azazel. And Aaron shall bring the goat on which the lot for Yahovah fell, and shall prepare it as a sin offering. But the goat on which the lot for Azazel fell is caused to stand alive before Yahovah, to make appointment upon it, to send it into the wilderness to Azazel. And Aaron shall bring the bull of the sin offering, which is for himself, and make atonement for himself and for his house, and shall slay the bull as the sin offering, which is for himself, and shall take a fire holder filled with burning coals of fire from the slaughter place before Yahovah, with his hands filled with sweet incense beaten fine, and shall bring it inside the veil. And he shall put the incense on the fire before Yahovah, and the cloud of incense shall cover the lid of atonement, which is on the witness, lest he die. And he shall take some of the blood of the bull, and sprinkle it on his finger on the lid of atonement for the east side. Also in front of the lid of atonement he sprinkles some of the blood with his finger 7 times. And he shall slay the goat of the sin offering, which is for the people, and shall bring its blood inside the veil, and shall do with that blood as he did with the blood of the bull, and sprinkle it on the lid of atonement, and in front of the lid of atonement. And he shall make atonement for the set-apart place, because of the uncleanness of the children of Israel, and because of their transgressions and all their sins. And so he does for the tent of appointment, which is dwelling with them in the midst of their uncleanness. And no man should be in the tent of appointment when he goes in to make atonement in the set-apart place until he comes out. And he shall make atonement for himself and for his household, and for all the assembly of Israel. And he shall go out to the slaughter place that is before Yahovah, and make atonement for it. And he shall take some of the blood of the bull and some of the blood of the goat, and sprinkle it on the horns of the altar, on the horns of the slaughter place all around. And he shall sprinkle some of the blood on it with his fingers 7 times, and cleanse it, and set it apart from the uncleanness of the children of Israel. And when he has finished atoning for the set-apart place, and the tent of appointment, and the slaughter place, he shall bring the live goat. Then Aaron shall lay both his hands on the head of the live goat, and shall confess over it all the crookedness of the children of Israel, and all their transgressions, in all their sins, and shall put them on the head of the goat, and shall send it away into the wilderness by the hand of a fit man. And the goat shall bear on itself all their crookedness, to a land cut off. Thus he shall send the goat away into the wilderness. Aaron shall then come into the tent of appointment, and shall take off the linen garments which he put on when he went into the set-apart place, and shall leave them there. And he shall bathe his body in water in the set-apart place, and shall put on his garments, and shall come out and prepare his ascending offering and the ascending offering of the people, and make atonement for himself and for the people, and burn the fat of the sin offering on the slaughter place. And he who sent away the goat to the Azazel washes his garments, and shall bathe his body in water, and afterward he comes into the camp. But in the bull of the sin offering, and the goat for the sin offering, whose blood was brought in to make atonement in the set apart place, is brought outside the camp, and they shall burn their skins and their flesh and their dung with fire. And he who burns them washes his garments, and shall bathe his body in water, and afterward he comes into the camp. And this shall be for you a law forever. In the 7th new moon, on the 10th day of the new moon, you afflict your beings, and do no work, the native nor the stranger who sojourns with you. For on that day he makes atonement for you, to cleanse you, to be clean from all your sins before Yahovah. It is a Sabbath of rest for you, and you shall afflict your beings, a law forever. And the priest who is anointed and ordained to serve as priest in his father's place shall make atonement, and shall put on the linen garments, the set-apart garments, and he shall make atonement for the set-apart place, and make atonement for the tent of appointment, and for the slaughter place, and make atonement for the priest and for all the people of the assembly. And this shall be for you a law forever, to make atonement for the children of Israel for all their sins once a year. Okay, Numbers chapter 29, verses 7 through 11. And on the 10th day of this 7th new moon, you shall have a set-apart gathering, and you shall afflict your beings, you do no work. And you shall bring near an ascending offering to Yahovah, a sweet fragrance, 1 young bull, 1 ram, 7 lambs a year old, perfect ones they are for you. And their grain offering, fine flour mixed with oil, 3/10 of an ephah for the bull, 2/10 for the 1 ram, and 1/10 for each of the 7 lambs, 1 male goat as a sin offering, besides the sin offering for atonement, the continual ascending offering with its grain offering, and their drink offerings. Okay, Isaiah, the Haftarah, 57:14 through Isaiah 58:14. And one shall say, heap it up, prepare the way, take a stumbling block out of the way of my people. For thus declares the high and exalted one, who dwells forever, whose name is set apart. I dwell in the high and set apart place with him who has a bruised and humble spirit, to revive the spirit of the humble, and to revive the heart of bruised ones. For I would not strive forever, nor am I wroth forever. For the spirit would grow faint before me, even the beings I have made. For the crookedness of his unfair gain is I was wroth and struck him. I hid myself and was wroth, and he went on backsliding in the way of his heart. I have seen his ways, but now I heal him, and I lead him, and restore comforts to him and to his mourners, creating the fruit of the lips, peace, peace to him who is far off, and to him who is near, said Yahovah, and I shall heal him. But the wrong are like the troubled sea, for it is unable to rest, and its waters cast up mud and dirt. There is no peace, said my Elohim, for the wrong. Cry aloud, do not spare. Lift up your voice like the shofar. Declare to my people their transgression, and the house of Jacob their sins. Yet they seek me day by day, and delight to know my ways, as a nation that did righteousness and did not forsake the right ruling of their Elohim. They ask of me rulings of righteousness. They delight in drawing near to Elohim. They say, why have we fasted, and you have not seen? Why have we afflicted our beings, and you took no note? Look, in the day of your fasting, you find pleasure, and drive on all your laborers. Look, you fast for strife and contention, and to strike with the fist of wrongness. You do not fast as you do this day, to make your voice heard on high. Is it a fast that I have chosen, a day for a man to afflict his being? Is it to bow down his head like a bulrush, and to spread out sackcloth and ashes? Do you call this a fast and an acceptable day to Yahovah? Is this not the fast that I have chosen, to loosen the tight cords of wrongness, to undo the bands of the yoke, to exempt the oppressed, and to break off every yoke? Is it not to share your bread with the hungry, and that you bring to your house the poor who are cast out? When you see the naked, and cover him, and do not hide yourself from your own flesh? When your light would break forth like the morning, your healing spring forth steadily, and your righteousness shall go before you, the esteem of Yahovah would be your rear guard. Then, when you call, Yahovah would answer. When you cry, he would say, here am I. If you take away the yoke from your midst, the pointing of the finger, and the speaking of unrighteousness, if you extend your being to the hungry, and satisfy the afflicted being, then your light shall dawn in the darkness, and your darkness be as noon. Then Yahovah would guide you continually, and satisfy your being in drought, and strengthen your bones, and you shall be like a watered garden, and like a spring of water whose waters do not fail. And those from among you shall build the old waste places. You shall raise up the foundations of many generations, and you would be called the repairer of the breach, the restorers of the streets to dwell in. If you do turn back your foot from the Sabbath, from doing your pleasure on my set-apart day, and shall call the Sabbath a delight, the set-apart day of Yahovah esteemed, and shall esteem it, not doing your own ways, nor finding your own pleasure, nor speaking your own words. Then you shall delight yourself in Yahovah, and I shall cause you to ride on the heights of the earth, and feed you with the inheritance of Jacob your father, for the mouth of Yahovah has spoken.